Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Joffrey Noodle Legs here today with a another list for you. This one's a bit different. I've been watching my one of my favourite channels the last few days, Horror Hands, and he's been putting up some videos about Section 3 video nasties. And his last video was 5 films that he thought should have been in the video nasty list. So it sort of inspired me to do this sort of video. This is a little bit different to that. This one is I've got 11 movies here. Could have gone for loads more. That modern day movies that would have been video nasties back in the day. So these would have definitely been on the video nasty. Most of these probably would have been on the list 1, to be honest. But you'll see. So I'm going to go through them. The first one is Sinister. This most definitely would have been in there because of the found footage sort of part of the film and the sort of torturing and killing of people, like in films, again, quite realistic. So this would have been, I believe, in the video nasty list. Maybe not 1, but maybe 2 or 3 that would have been in there. This next one would have definitely been in number 1. It's the Hatchet films. These are very similar to sort of Friday the 13th sort of films, but they're a lot more gorier, and would have not that these definitely would have been in section 1 of the video nasties. This one I think also would have been in section 1 is Vacancy. It's about this couple here that sort of stay in a motel because they're on a road trip and their car's broken down, and they find a videotape in their room and they watch it, and it's like these people being tortured, and it's in the room that they're staying in. So then they're sort of fleeing the people that are torturing the people that is in the video, and there's quite a bit of torture in this film. It's only a 15, but I still think this would have hit the video nasties because it's quite an extreme sort of like unsettling sort of film. This one's a bit different. It's not really a horror film. It's more of a sort of a kung fu sort of samurai films, and these are the Kill Bill films. These definitely would have made the video nasty list. There's a lot of gore in these. There's a lot of pulling out of eyeballs. There's a lot of severed limbs, and there's a lot of killing people with weapons. And I think that was one of the major things in the video nasties was the use of weapons. And obviously this is just full of weapons. So these would have definitely been in section 1 of the video nasty, the Kill Bills. A superhero film next, a Marvel film, which I think would have been in section 1 or 2, and that's The Punisher. Again, this is quite a violent film, and there's a lot of gore and there's a lot of killings in there, and there's a lot of sort of like torture. So this definitely, to me, would have been in the section 1. Most of these are going to be section 1, but definitely would have been a video nasty, I believe. It would have been The Punisher. Another one, one that people don't really talk about, it's another sort of tortury kidnapping film, and it's a film called Chained. This probably would have made list 2 or list 3, and maybe got by with a few cuts. But this again is about someone that's been captured and sort of chained up and tortured. Quite a good film actually. I've not watched it for a while. I might dig this out and do a review of it because I've not watched it for quite a while. It's about a sort of serial killer that kidnaps this and chains them up, and it's, again, this would have been a video nasty. This one's quite obvious. It's another sort of found footage film, and it's VHS. This would have been definitely video nasty. It's loads of sort of different clips of different stories, and they sort of all come into one at the end. And there is a VHS 2 and 3, I believe, and they're very violent and gory. The second one, I believe, is worse than this. But yeah, this definitely would have made, I think, list 1 of the video nasties VHS. This one I think would have made list 2, and it's Orphan. Again, just because of the content, and it's got some sexual content, like almost like incest sort of taboo-y sort of subject in there as well, which I think would have hit the sort of like the British film industry's sort of like classifications, and I think this would have probably hit the section 2 of the video nasties and would have passed as long as it had bits cut out of it. But there we go. And the same as this one, this probably would have made a section 1, captivity. This is very similar to the Saw movies. It's about someone's being captive, and I think it ends up being her boyfriend or something. He seems to be a part of it, and starts cutting bits of body off, and it's a really sort of like cross between Saw and Hostel. It's quite a gory film, this, and it's quite scary. Captivity. That would have definitely been a video nasty. This one, both of these definitely would have been on the section 1, and that would have been Terrifier films. These probably wouldn't have even left the studio, to be honest. These are very, very extreme films about Art the Clown as a serial killer, and they're very, very gory and violent, both of them, and they're very, very extreme. So yeah, these would definitely both been on the section 1 of the video nasties, no doubt. And also this one, the last one, this is sort of like a sci-fi one. It's The Void. I think this would have been a video nasty on the section 1. Again, it's about sort of like a cult, and it's like a science fiction sort of cult. It's a very sort of Lovecraftian sort of film with sort of Hellraiser sort of vibe to it, and it's very gory. And I'm just surprised if this would not have been a video nasty if it was released back in the day. So all those, I believe, would have been video nasties. Now, I stayed away from the obvious ones, like the disturbing films that I've already covered, like I Saw the Devil, Ebola Syndrome, and all the Saw, Hostel, all these extreme movies. Yeah, they would have all definitely been video nasties. But so I wanted to just dig out a few films that I don't really talk about too much. Films like Chained and the Kill Bill films, they definitely would have been video nasties if they were around in that day. Let's just be grateful that it's no longer like that. Although, you know, those sort of movies in the video nasties are all real now cult films, and people go out to collect them just because of their sort of history behind the films. There were 3 sections. There was section 1, which was if your film was in it, it was taken straight off the shelves, and the seller could be prosecuted. The producers could be, everyone could be prosecuted for having this film because it was banned from the country, pretty much. Section 2 was again, you could be filed for a prosecution, but more likely it would just be removed from the shelves until sort of like further notice and not being seen. Section 3 was the films that were removed from the shelves but weren't prosecutable, but could be returned to shelves if the film had some cuts made in the film. So if some films had cuts made in them, then they could be released. Like films like Friday the 13th and that were in there, and I believe The Thing and things like that, but they did come out cut. There were some bits cut out the films, and then they were released. And now over time, when obviously the video nasty era ended, those bits that have been cut out have been returned into the film. So yeah, because I remember them coming out, and then when they come out again later on, they'll come out Friday the 13th, the uncut version. It was all like that, and now they're not too bad. But they are films that I think the modern films that would most definitely be video nasties back in the day. Please check out some channels for me, guys, before my next film. My next video. Check out Horror Hands, The Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, I'm Pizzlewell, and I'm Ice Lord, Pizzlewell, and Sarah of Horror. All great channels. And a shout out to me lad. Hope you're doing well, mate. I'll see you all soon, guys.